What's the creepiest thing you've ever discovered in a new house? When I bought my first house, I was just excited to finally have a place of my own. It wasn't fancy, an old fixer-upper on a quiet street, but the price was right, and I figured I could handle some squeaky floors and outdated wallpaper. But within the first week, I noticed something strange. At night, when the house was quiet, I'd hear faint tapping sounds. Not pipes, not creaks, tapping. Always coming from the same corner of the living room wall. I brushed it off as the house settling, like everyone says. Then, one Saturday, while moving furniture, I pressed against that corner and noticed it sounded hollow. Curious, I grabbed a flashlight and a screwdriver. After some prying, a section of the wall popped open, revealing a narrow crawl space I hadn't known existed. The air inside was stale, thick with dust. Crawling in felt like stepping into another time. At the far end was a small wooden box, old and worn, with initials carved on the lid, JW. I opened it, expecting maybe old tools or junk. Instead, I found a stack of notebooks. The handwriting inside was cramped and frantic. The first entry read, "They told me no one would believe me. Maybe they're right, but I have to keep track of what I've seen." Each notebook was filled with daily accounts, strange noises, sightings of figures in the yard, detailed sketches of people with faces scratched out. Some entries were just strings of numbers. Others mentioned the Watchers and their signals. At first, I thought it was the ramblings of someone unwell, but one entry froze me in place. It was dated 15 years ago, to the day. It described someone standing in the very living room where I now sat, tapping on the walls, testing them. I slammed the notebook shut. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every shadow seemed to move, every sound too loud. Around 2 a.m., I heard it again. The tapping, slow, deliberate, in the same corner of the wall. My heart raced. I grabbed the flashlight, forced myself to check, but the crawl space was empty. The box was still there, untouched. The next morning, I did some digging. I asked an older neighbor if they knew who had lived in my house before me. She hesitated, then said, "There was a man, John Whitaker, kept to himself. People said he wasn't right, always talking about being watched. He disappeared one night. They never found him." My stomach dropped. JW. I wanted to believe it was coincidence, but the more I thought about it, the less sense it made. If he disappeared, who had written that last entry? And why did the tapping keep happening? Years later, a week later, I heard it again, but this time, it wasn't from the wall. It was from inside the crawl space itself. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and forced myself to look. The notebooks were gone. Only the empty box remained. To this day, I don't know who took them, or if John Whitaker ever really left. But sometimes, in the dead of night, I still hear the tapping. Always 3 knocks, always in the same corner, and I can't shake the feeling that someone is still keeping track.